Okay, so this lighting is not perfect, but it's better. I don't have the hat to cover it up today, but as you can see, I've had quite the substantial amount of growth since it fell out in February, but whatever. Okay, so I think I've also realized that looking at the camera for some reason makes me really uncomfortable, so I'm probably going to be looking away a lot and looking down a lot just because it'll probably be easier for me to like translate better, whatever, however I'm gonna do this. But today's video I'm going to be talking as quickly as possible because I have a tendency to drag on a little bit about why I'm so glad that I have been single my whole life. And this time around I actually wrote out some stuff to kind of go with while I'm talking here, but it's kind of one of those things that people find really weird, and I think a lot of people are can be ashamed of it because it's so required of us to have experienced this in our lifetimes. A lot of people find it very odd when I say that I've never been in a relationship, and I've only ever been on one date my whole life, and I didn't really like it. It's different for everybody, and everybody's gonna kind of react to this in a different kind of way, but some of you just can't possibly see yourselves not being in a relationship, and others are going to be like, maybe it's not right now, and some of you is going to be like, it's never. For me, it's probably will happen in the future. I don't see myself not having a partner forever, but I have enjoyed this point up to my life, not being in a relationship. So to kind of go off of what I wrote down here, I'm really happy with the fact that I have managed to be single this entire time, and that I didn't really succumb to the pressure of having to be in a relationship, especially for women. Once you start hitting a certain age, people kind of like look at you like, why haven't you had like a boyfriend yet, or a girlfriend or a partner or whatever? Like, how have you never been in a relationship? Especially when you're like conventionally attractive, or people find you attractive. I've been called perfect, all sorts of things. They just kind of look at you and go, what? And it's like, yeah, I've never been in a relationship, and I never really considered being in one. I think the only times I ever considered being in one was because, like I said earlier, I felt that pressure to be in a relationship by the people in my life who found it odd that I wasn't in a relationship. I don't know, it just makes me laugh that people were so concerned that I'm 22 or 20 or whatever, and I haven't dated anybody yet. Like, my life is about to end in 5 years or something. It's really quite stupid when you think about it. What does it matter if someone's been in a relationship or hasn't? Like, I think it's perfectly fine to wait and to be comfortable with yourself and not want to pursue something like that, because who gives a fuck at the end of the day? However, I've always had conflicting thoughts with it, because it's something, especially being a girl, you're always told, oh, you're so pretty, you're such a cutie, and a lot of things that people say to you when you're younger is based on your value of as having a partner. I would hear, oh, you're going to be a heartbreaker and all this and that, and lots of people are going to want you. It's like stupid shit like that, where it's like a lot of your worth as a woman is based off of who you can attract for a partner. And I seen a clip, I think if it was of Emma Watson, kind of talking about how there's this age marker where women start feeling a lot of pressure, like they're behind, because you know, the whole thing where by the time you hit 30 you should be married and have kids and be like a career woman. I don't know if men feel the same pressure. Let me know if you do. But I know for women that like a lot of people refer to as like the internal clock or maternal clock or whatever, that you have to have these certain markers, like markers of success and certain goals in your life, and that you have to do things a certain way, and that you have to save money a certain way, and that you have to accomplish things in a certain way. And I've never been that person. I don't know if I ever see myself having a house in the future. Maybe I would prefer a farm, as I have mentioned before, but I don't see myself wanting to follow those traditional markers that a lot of people feel pressured to. And I hope that if I were to have a partner in the future, that they wouldn't try and convince me to change who I am, and I could just find someone who's fine with the fact that I just don't want that traditional life and I don't value it. And unfortunately, I think that intimidates a lot of people because we are so accustomed to wanting to fit in and wanting to seem like everybody else, and it's difficult to stand out and be different. And I've seen it happen with many people. They said, oh, I was going to do this for my wedding, or I was going to do this way, and then I ended up changing my mind because X, Y, and Z. It's like you didn't end up changing your mind based on your own resolution or your own findings. You most likely, a lot of the things that we do as people is because we have been pressured by other people in our lives and in society on how we should live our lives and how we should perform in just like everything, like how we should act as people. It's really quite stupid. Who cares at the end of the day? We only have one life to live, and if you don't want to get married and you don't want to have kids, then you don't actually have to do that. If you want to adopt. If you want to get married, get married. If you want to wear pink, blue, red, whatever on your wedding day, then do that. Like, tradition is for the weak, uncreative people. I think something I wrote down here was like how people, as I said earlier, mentioned I was going to be a heartbreaker, and I said the only thing I broke was my own heart. And I think, yeah, like I would just get upset at the fact that I didn't have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and why didn't I have one of those things? Like, why couldn't I be like everyone else? And as I got older, I realized, oh, I do not have the patience for that. I think I have more patience now for it, but definitely back then I would just like roll my eyes at some of the things people talk about when it comes to couples and that sort of thing. I think I've learned not to rush into it, because I did end up going on a date in like the beginning of 2020 before everything happened, and I remember doing it because I felt like it was something I should have done and not something that I necessarily wanted to do. I was very much hopped up on, oh, it's new year, I should start doing things new and doing things I'd never done before. I mean, I'm glad I experimented with it and realized that it wasn't really something that I liked, or maybe it was just not the way I did it that I liked it. Everybody's different, but it wasn't something for me. Like, I don't think I need to be in a relationship anytime soon. I like being by myself. The thing that kind of got to me was that whether or not this date went well, like even just as excluding this date, like you can have people in your life where you're hanging out with them and they have shown visible red flags or things that you disagree with, and the people in your life will be like, oh, just give them a chance. Oh, it's okay. Just you just have to settle down. And it's like, why should anybody settle for anything because of their expiration date on life? Like, who cares? I will never. If it takes me 15 years to find the right person, then I'll take 15 years to find the right fucking person, because there's no way in hell I'm settling for somebody I don't like. I just think that's ridiculous that people think that they could say that to you just so that you will be in a relationship like everybody else. Like, why? Why is it so important to be in a relationship? They have to be with somebody you don't even agree with. I think also another big thing that I have learned about being single and being on my own is that you have to rely on yourself for everything, including taking care of yourself, comforting yourself, learning how to cope by yourself, and learning about who you are as a person. If you constantly have someone with you that you're leaning on all the time, you never really find out the things you like because you're so occupied with that other person. Obviously, you have a partner and you need to pay attention to them, and it's a relationship, and they can be really distracting, and they can kind of veer you off of what your actual goals in life is just to try and meet with this person. Or sometimes you'll notice that people get into relationships and that's their whole life is their relationship, and they start forgetting about the things that made them happy. And that's something that I think that I can say that I have, that a lot of people in my life I've seen who have always had partners don't have, is that if you don't have that self happiness, you will slowly start to deteriorate in your relationship because you didn't find your happiness outside of that. I think so many of these people rely on their happiness with the other person than learning about the things that make them happy and then doing that. Like, if you've ever seen those people that have good, successful relationships, they don't have to be with that person all the time because they're confident and they know themselves, and they've probably had that space and that time to think and really evaluate the things that they align with and the things that make them happy. They've probably learned coping skills on their own where they don't have to use someone else to help them. Your partner should be exactly that, just a partner, somebody who helps you along the way, is a fun addition to your life, but is not the only thing in your life that is kind of keeping you afloat and the sole reason for your happiness. I wrote down here that, like, the two phrases, you complete me and you save my life, or like, who would I be without you? And it's like, you would be you without that person. And I think that's so important, and it's unfortunate that people will say those things to their partner. I think that's putting a lot of pressure on the other person, that you have to be with them in order for them to be happy. I don't think you should ever say that to your partner. You should say, thank you for helping me, but not like, you're the reason I'm alive and I love you, blah, 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 and all this crap. Like, you got to be happy on your own, and you got to learn how to do things on your own. And you can't rely on somebody for those things, You got to put in the work too, and sometimes you can get complacent in relationships and not work and rely too heavily on the other person, in my opinion at least. I mean, I'm just going off, obviously I'm not going off of experience, I'm going off of observation and just seeing how these things have impacted their relationships around me, and seeing how the codependency can kind of tank. And that's like my only thing, is that I'm really enjoying being by myself, and I think I have so much more time for self-discovery and so much more time for growing, and I don't really care that I have never been in a relationship. I don't really care if people like approach me for that sort of thing, and I don't really care what people say about me not having been in a relationship, because lots of people do this. And lots of people live until their 30s without ever having been in a relationship. I just think it shouldn't be as big of a deal as it is, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it. And this has already turned super long, so I'm going to end it here. And yeah, I hope this was like more better. I hope this was better to watch in terms of me being more comfortable in front of the camera. I feel like I'm being more comfortable and smiling a little bit more, and it's helping me not look to the screen at all. So thanks for watching, and as always, the transcript will be uploaded to Patreon, and if you sign up for the $1 tier, you have access to that as well as other things. And I'm going to be doing some dye making today, hopefully. We'll see. I have to test it out. I don't even know if it's gonna work, but Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you are so happy by yourself and not in a relationship. But if you are in a relationship, I hope you have a great time in your relationship and you do couples therapy, because everybody needs to do couples therapy. Okay, goodbye.